Better be the belts on my waist. Drinking up dust in 5-ton stallions. I'm the sharpest cowboy about the place.
You can hear me just fine. Alright. I need to start recording stuff more, guys. I'm sorry. What I'm doing here is building upon the urns, pet caskets, this sort of thing. Trying to figure out something that'll keep sustain the business. 3D printing trinkets and designing things every day is and by designing things every day, I want to design things every day. Don't take that the wrong way, but designing different unordered things, if you will, just guessing. But anyways, so what we're going to do here is just going to start back over. I'll show you how I did this. Okay, what I really did is I started out with a rectangle, center rectangle. I measured in 7.5 on each side. Well, okay, this is a scaled down version, of course. I'm never going to print a full size dog casket first time. That would be silly. But so then I measured this all out out of a rectangle. Okay. Then I extruded the bottom down. We'll show you that. Well, it should show you that right there. I extruded downward because I'm going to use the same sketch to make the lid. And there's the sketch again. I had to turn it back on. After you extrude, the sketch will turn off, so you have to come over here and turn it back on or off. Alright, then well, it's going to make me do it now. That's as far back as it'll go. So here's what I have to do. Highlight, hold control to get both of them, and then we're going to extrude. I'm going to go up 4 millimeters on this one. Okay, again, and now we're going to make this a new body over here. Right over here. You can make this, you can join this, you can make it a cut. There's been nothing to cut right there, so it gave you an error. Intersect, there's nothing to intersect there. If we would have went down, we could have intersected. Or a new component, but we don't. The body's components thing, and unless you're using the full version of Fusion 360 and getting into the cam portion and whatnot, components are not that necessary. 3D printing bodies work. They're also easier to edit later. So anyways, new body. Then we can turn the sketch off because we're now done with that sketch. Now, I had these renamed at one point, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to rename these, and this is Casket 2. And enter. And we rename the top one Lid Casket 2. Because I already have a Casket 1 done. It's already on the website, so. And that's the other thing, folks. It's a big chore trying to build a website, model every day, get it on the website, give you guys some information that may have passed through the community today. But you can bet I'm trying. So if you're out there watching and you're just an entrepreneur with a little bit of time on your hands, I got plenty of stuff that can be done. Coding's not necessarily necessary. But anyways, back to business. So now we got them renamed. We're going to get rid of this lid for a minute. So we just turn it off. Now, we're going to hollow this bad boy out. So we highlight the face we want to remove all the material from. And right here it's asking us, how thick do we want these walls? I'm going to go with a steady 3 on this. There's a reason I stick with similar numbers throughout the build or design. Okay, so now we have our general. Now this is supposed to be an old Western casket, so I'm not going to round my edges much. But we are going to quickly give our 4 corners here just a tad rounding, not a lot, not a lot. I think we're going to try 0.6 and see what it looks like. Yes, beautiful. See, just takes the just takes the, and that 0.6 is actually a thing too for 3D printing. Now your nozzle size is going to play a big effect. I use 0.4 on most projects. Now the 0.6, and what it does for me is it actually makes things overlap to a point. It's because it can't actually do the 0.6, so it forces different flow rates and such. In the end, I like my 0.6. I know what it does. All right. So then we're going to do the same thing to the inside, real quick like. Now you notice I'm not playing with those ones in the middle. It's because those are not sharp edges, if that makes sense. The other thing all this rounding of edges helps with is if it's an overhang and you can go into it with a nice curvature, you may not need supports, depending on the overhang, of course. Okay, and because we don't want to struggle. Okay, after we do this, let's, first of all, what we need to do, well, take this bad boy back home so we can see where we're at again. Okay, yes, we're still below our surface, so what we need to do is turn our lid back on and get our butts back up to the surface. Move copy, I think I did 22. Bam. Alright, now we go home, we're back on the surface, our lid's there. Alright, what we're going to do with our lid is also move it down. So we're going to go negative. See, the arrow's wanting to move it up. So we got to go negative. And we went 4 up, so we're going to go 2 down. That's going to dig into our, I'll show you. We're going to go negative 2. And there it is. And we can just say okay. Now what we're going to do is combine, but we're actually not combining. We're going to cut these two things. And then we'll round our corner. See, we want it cut on the inside first. Alright, so our target body is going to be the lid, because that's what we want to remove the material from. Our tool body is going to be the casket. We're going to cut, there's 3 sections here, join, cut, or intersect. And then you can either make it a new component, or you can keep the tools. We're going to keep the tools, otherwise when you make this cut, the casket will disappear. If you do not have this checked and you make a cut like this, you're going to lose your casket. So, cut. Now what we can do is get rid of our casket and check this out, folks. Bam. Now, here's the fun part. We got to highlight all of these walls. Now, when I first started, I used to do this too, and it doesn't hurt, but little secret, it grabs them. If you just do the flat surfaces, it will, oh, we got the line over there, that's crappy. Sometimes you miss. Alright, so now what we're going to do is, you're going to want to make sure your arrow, you can see your arrow, and which way it's going. We know they're highlighted, so we're going to go to modify, and offset face. Now, see, it's pointing outward, we don't want that, so we're going to negative this bad boy. Negative 0.0, I do 2, 2. This is going to leave me a nice, snug fit. And you can just okay that. It did 12 faces and it gave us no errors. So now you can turn it this way, and what we've just done made that. So now we got to do this to both sides, believe it or not. But if you only do one side, your dimension's going to be off on the other side, obviously. Oh, and it wants to be a little knucklehead, so you gotta. Yes, I do not, I mean, I don't hate the way Fusion, you can orbit and all that other stuff, but it's a pain in the neck. You gotta press 10 buttons. But I almost said slicer movement is much better, but at the same time, the slicer, though a lot of slicers are giving you some pretty decent abilities these days, they're not giving you Fusion 360 abilities. I think we're going to jump into making some Valentine stuff after this today. I don't know. Again, we're offsetting the face. It wants to pull it in. We want to go negative 0.2, oops, 0.22. Yes, you are not taking off much. And now we'll have a nice snug fit on the top of our, and we do this so that it's kind of airtight too, I guess. It's not actually airtight, but okay. Now remember, I said now we don't have to do nothing to the inside, but we still want to do our 0.6 on our sharp corners first. Boom. Okay, and we're gonna just take our edges out too. Oops, wrong one. Now, as a new user to Fusion, you might not have noticed what I just did, but I knew that I grabbed the wrong line. They're so close together that you can sometimes, and you might not see it as a, it might not be able to do these because I made them so small, but again, we're also going very small, and it did just fine. Alright, now, aesthetically, we don't have nothing on it yet, but see, even in the backwoods, you had to have a little class, right? So we gave her a little class, classed her up a little. Now, I'm torn as to whether or not I should decorate these things or just I have to not delete, but send something to the read-only section. And yes, I have started some Valentines, but 1/8, that's probably a dead issue by now. Alright. And as you see, I'm working on the Google Pixel 8 case there and the Google 9 Fold, but I put them both down. I think that would be more of a resin printing situation as far as the TPU getting that snug to the case or to the phone. But I am trying to get a 0.2 nozzle for Mini Cubic. Every time I go on, they're out of stock for that one. And I haven't sent an email regarding that just yet, but yeah, I'm pretty sure we have. Oh, yeah, they're these ones. That's what I was wondering. Alright, and now this time I'm going to show you because oops, don't want to worry about all that other nonsense. See how I grabbed that corner right there? I didn't highlight the corner, it just took it. But there we go. And we could add them right here, but I think it would take away from the, because you get it from the top. So again, we can make our lid disappear. And we're golden. Now, that's what I was saying. I'm torn if I should sit here and decorate these things or whatnot, but we're just going to save it as Alright, so walked you through a project. Now here's where you would actually export it as an STL, and how I would do that is, or go about doing that is, turn off the lid first, go ahead and export, and okay, casket 2 complete. Nope, this is going to be casket only. We want a printable version of it, so let's go ahead and make sure we have it saved first, right? So let's go back to complete. And we're gonna make it a F3D file first. That's the Fusion native file. And we're gonna go in here because we have urns. I should have called it urns and caskets, but it don't really matter. Casket 2. What the hell? There it is. I feel like I'm spelling casket wrong. I probably am. We're going to save that, and we're going to make sure it's an F3D file right here. This is where you change your files, and I'll show you the rest of that in a minute. But right now we do want the F3D, and it's going into casket 2. And we're going to export it. Then it tells us up here it's done with that one. So now what we'll do, oh shoot, I didn't have the lid on. See, we're going to start that over. Now, okay, make a mistake like that. Here's an easy fix. Export. Right, and we'll just click on here because we don't want that name, we want that name. Bam. Now we're just going to overwrite that file. We don't have to go delete anything, nothing, done. Yes, we want to overwrite that file. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing and we're going to export the step file. More important than the F3D file is the step file. So what we'll do, we can reach in here because we want to keep the name similar and we grabbed it, right? We can hit the, no, oh, I'm sorry. We can cancel. Oh no. Let me do that differently. Alright, we grab this. Then we. Wow. I'm struggling. Copy. Cancel. Paste. Goodness. Then it's going to be a step file. So we're going to delete this. Paste step. Go here and change it to step, and we're going to export. So now we have our two, these are our best files. They can be easily edited, whatnot. Whereas STLs, which we're about to send out, so we're going to turn off the lid again. STL files, on the other hand, and now we got it copied, so we can just paste. And STL casket on. And export. Uh-oh. I didn't change it to STL, watch. Sure didn't. So what we gotta do, delete that this time. We can't. Wait a minute. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to delete. Yes. And I'm going to cancel out there. Then I'm going to turn this into an STL file. Also, you got to watch yourself. I do it all the time, as you can see. Now, it's an STL this time. Okay, so then we'll turn off the casket, turn the lid back on. Now you might ask why we're doing this. Well, if you send them both out, yes, the slicer can in fact separate files and everything else to but it's a pain in the neck. It's not as simple as just sending out two different STLs. STL, we got a named STL, and we got a lid casket too. Export. So now we do have a printable version of that. Can actually be messed up in the slicer, which I think I might start doing, is just playing with it in the slicer because the embed and such is way different. I've done it a couple times, and I actually, Prusa slicer does a better job than any cubic neck slicer does for sure. But I haven't played with Orca slicer that much. Opened it a couple times. But all in all, you get your best customization and whatnot within the program that you know how to use, whether it be Blender, Fusion 360, Tinkercad, whatever you're using, that's where you're going to get your best embossing and whatnot. And I mentioned Tinkercad, I don't even know what they can do anymore, if they can emboss properly or not. But anyways, and this is, like I say, this is going through the cam section here. You can actually go up in here, go into render, and it gives you a little studio. You can change the background coloring, you can change the lighting. You got environments, and there's a library of them: cool, light, dry lake, bed, blah blah blah. Pretty good program, and I'm only using the free version, personal version. It's so right up in here somewhere. Yeah, right there, not for commercial use, whatever. I don't see AutoCAD suing me, or Autodesk suing me if I sell stuff that I make with this at this point in time. I've used the, I am part of the, I don't know, I get to test the newest stuff, but I don't get the full version of the newest stuff, so anyways. Yeah, I think this is a great program and very useful for anybody that wants to do this sort of thing. With that, I am going to stop recording.